Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back to the Whiskey Riff Lounge. Today we are doing a sweet mash matchup. That's right. We're going to be doing some craft. I guess you could call them craft. I guess at least one is. We're doing Peerless bourbon. Get that out of my face. There we go. Versus this new touted decanted version of Barrel Proof from James E. Pepper. Man, what a beautiful bottle this is. So stick around. We're going to get this thing kicked off real soon, and we'll see who wins. All right, welcome back, everybody. So today we're doing sweet mash matchup. So we've got Peerless bourbon versus the James E. Pepper. And let me tell you guys, this is such a pretty bottle. Their price difference is $65 versus, I think this is like $80, $90 some places. Sometimes I think the retail is supposed to be around $70. So similar prices, almost identical proofs. One is 107.6 and one is 107.1. The Peerless is the lower of the two. So we'll start with the Peerless at 107.1. So let's get into the nose. Cheers, whiskey friends. So you can see it's pretty good color on this copper. Okay, so a little bit grain forward on the nose, not so much sweetness that I would expect from sweet mash, maybe? I don't know why they call it sweet mash, but so if you aren't aware or haven't heard what the difference between a sour mash and a sweet mash is that in a sour mash, you take some of the mash that's left over after you've distilled, and then you put it back in the next batch. Sweet mash is you take it out and clean it every single time. There's no old mash going back in to get a continuous flavor profile. It's a different process. Peerless, like I said, is probably a little bit bigger than James E. Pepper is probably a little bit bigger than Peerless. I don't know how barrel wise how much they're putting out versus one another, but it is a sweet mash process. So the nose on this one particularly has a lot of air in it. So you can see it's just about a quarter of the bottle left. You still get lots of cinnamon, lots of grain notes up front. Still smells pretty young. Let's go in for the palate. Pretty good. Like I said, you still get the grain note, and it's not off-putting. I will say that I would like to get a little bit more age on this. I know Peerless now is up to like maybe 6 years on their bourbon, maybe 7. This is an older bottle, so it is a little bit probably around 4 to 5 on this particular bottle, but you still get lots of that oak, a lot of the grain, vanilla, not so much. It's more baking spice heavy than anything. A lot of alcohol in those, I have to be up front. It does drink a little bit hotter than its proof as far as, it's 107.1. I would say 112, 113. But overall, it's a great pour. A little bit of apple on the second one. Let's go over to the James E. Pepper. Now, this was one that has come out recently, and I got to try it in October. It was pretty good in October. Trying it on second time, it's a little bit better. It's a little bit more consistent and a little bit more complex than I remembered. So cheers, whiskey friends, and cheers to the Mash and Journey, Whiskey Club. Cheers, Scott and Jason. All right, a little bit less alcohol-y on the nose. A little bit more delicate. There's not a lot as much, like this is all baking spices, like bam, right up in the face, where this one's that's a little bit more delicate on the nose. Still get a little bit of the barrel notes up front. say a little bit of brown sugar, not overwhelmingly, but just that's the one note that kind of sticks out. Let's take the palate and then go back into the nose and see if anything changes. Cheers. Mm. So this is a little bit more rounded. This comes off a little bit sharp. The James C. Pepper also comes across a little bit more oak forward than this. Obviously, I think I don't know what the age statement is on this. I don't think it is age stated, but I think whenever we tried it, it was a blend of years. So um, I do taste more oak on this, just plain and simple. That's what comes across. You get a little bit more of a vanillas, but this is a much more subtle nose than this one on the Peerless. Yeah, this one's more bright and sharp up front, even on the nose. And then James C. Pepper is a little bit more delicate. There's not as much jumping out on that. Going for a second sip. Man, that's pretty damn good. 65 bucks versus Peerless. I don't know what the distribution is like where you're at for Peerless or this James E. Pepper. Peerless for me here, I had to get this bottle out of state. I don't have it here. They have the rye, but they don't hardly ever carry their bourbon. If they do, it's like 80 bucks. I don't know. I'm not going to pay $80 again for a 4-year-old whiskey. Yeah. So a little bit more complex, a lot of vanillas. An oak that I really, really like. It comes off sweet. It comes off with a little bit more age, but not giving you any type of indication as far as if I was drinking this blind, I might think it was 8 years old. Okay, doing a little side by side. There's something funny I can't put my finger on the James E. Pepper. I'm gonna go back to it just a second. A little bit more spice forward, but sweeter. More sharp, more rye spice on this one. There's something on this finish that is, I don't know, it's weird. A lot easier to drink on the James E. Pepper, even though the proof point is identical pretty much. The vanilla and oak come in way later on this James E. Pepper. I tend to like that. I don't get a lot of rye spice from this at all, or baking spices compared to this. I mean, I think that may be muting one another as far as what each of them brings to the table. If I was going to buy, I'm definitely grabbing this. Number one, it's a cool ass bottle. It's beautiful. 65 bucks where I'm at. Got that locally. Came out this year. I just feel like it's a more complex whiskey. I will say that, again, this is an older bottle of Peerless, and I will say that the age on the Peerless bourbons is getting up there. I tend to like Peerless ryes a lot better, but I tend to really like Peerless's single barrel stuff. I'll be interested to see next year's, because this is the first release of the James E. Peppers. I will like to see next year what it does, if it stays consistent. Is it going to be one of those things that it gets a little bit older each year and it gets a little bit more complex? This is barrel proof for both of these. So, they're probably going in maybe 115, 116 to the barrel if they're coming out at that. They may be as low as 110. I can't remember what Peerless's entry proof is. I know it is lower than typicals, but I do not know the James E. Pepper, so I'll have to try to do some more research and get back with you guys. But overall, I prefer the nose on the Peerless just because it's got all that fun baking spice up front, whereas this one's a little bit more delicate, but man, the palate just kicks Peerless's butt on this one. So my advice, if you like these type of whiskeys that are right around the sweet mash, you want to chase the sweet mash versus a sour mash, the James E. Pepper is the way to go for me. I think it's going to definitely take over, what what really bourbon drinkers would want, I would think. This one, even as a new bourbon drinker, would probably come off a little bit harsh and sharp and a little bit harder to drink, whereas I feel like this is a little bit easier to drink, even at 107. So there you go, guys. Sweet Mash matchup. James E. Pepper, beautiful decanter bottle. So make sure you grab that. Let me know in the comments if you've tried this bottle or the Peerless bourbon, what your thoughts are about the Sweet Mash I can't even talk today. Sweet Mash process. There we go. I don't know what it is about these videos. I get tongue-tied at the end. I don't understand. Anyway, we'll talk to you again soon, friends. We'll talk to you next time. Make sure you tune in Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're doing some really cool stuff. I think next week you will see some hard truth. So make sure you tune in. Thanks, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say